Hello friends! This is the third and final vintage unboxing video. Like I said in the first video, in my grandfather's trunk we found 3 boxes and I've already opened 2 of them. And this beautiful box here is the last one. I have absolutely no idea what's in any of these boxes. My mom checked them and she said that they are indeed garments, but beyond that I have no idea. And I'm really looking forward to opening this. Oh, but before I do, in between takes, in between the last video and this video, I helped my mom move some furniture. And I happened to find like one of my favorite pieces of clothing from college. So I am going to put that on really quick. I'm a giraffe! This is my giraffe onesie. I lived in this thing during college, and honest to goodness, I thought that had been stolen out of like my washing machine, like the public washing machine, while I was cleaning it, because it just disappeared one day and I couldn't find it. But it was stuck underneath the drawer of this thing that my mom needed to move. Okay, so, and it says Etta baby clothes is what it says. Etta or Etta. And here on the side, there's a little label that says something. Oh! Famous slack suits for well-dressed comfort. Everyone on my grandfather's side of the family has this beautiful swooping cursive. His handwriting was never very good. Mine is not very good. And I can barely read this. It kind of reminds me of my mom's. Sorry. I was expecting there to be tissue over it, and then just all of a sudden there was this gorgeous eyelet lace in my face that is very obviously hand done. Oh my. Okay. I expected there to be tissue paper in front of it. I had no idea how to process that. Oh, this is gorgeous as well, actually, this tissue paper here. It's got like a herringbone pattern to it when the light hits it, and it's nice and crinkly. I don't understand why we don't just make things well anymore. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! So this is a little christening gown. Oh my goodness. Just for a little baby boy. You're just so small. It's so small. I'm not gonna cry. I'm really baby crazy, but I'm being fiscally responsible. Okay, whew, you don't want a baby yet. You don't want a baby yet. Oh, I don't want a baby yet. But when I do get a baby, tiny christening gown. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's stained here. I think something leaked onto the box. And there's like little wood chips that are sprinkled all over here. The ruching here on the back is just gorgeous. Now here we have a little baby bonnet. Just little baby bonnet, which is lovely. This lace is just incredible. Oh, it's missing one of the little ribbons. Could have easily been fixed. Precious! Oh, this one feels heftier. This one is also a christening gown. It's a much sturdier cotton. This is a much sturdier cotton. Oh, I never would have thought to do this. It's like little pin tucks, little dainty pin tucks all along the bottom of the ribbon there. That would look gorgeous on some Lolita. Oh my goodness. And there's just all this lace. Is this? What the heck? This is eyelet lace. This is, is this hand done? That has to be by hand. Oh my gosh. Are you looking at this? Are you looking at this thing here? I can't even do a French knot. Well, apparently I come from seamstresses. Let me get closer to you here. Supposedly my family was wealthy back in the day, and that would explain the sheer amount of work going on here. Man, I'm gonna take you in for some close-up shots of this in a minute. Holy heck. And like, look at the little baby. It just, oh, that's amazing. Oh, dotted Swiss. Everyone in my family just has this obsession with dotted Swiss, which this is done by hand. This is not like machine done dotted Swiss. And it's so funny to see it pop up here on the shoulders of this baby outfit, because like we still really like dotted Swiss. Like that's just a thing that we like in my family. I think these are all baby clothes. Oh my goodness. Oh, this little collar here. Look at this. So this one's a little bit larger. I think this is for a larger baby. And it's got this little lace collar here. And it's got pin tucks on both sides of the button placket, which I think is kind of nifty. Nifty and fun. This tissue paper here is just so cool. Like, I know that there's so many cooler things in this box, but the tissue paper is rather cool. Oh, there was moisture. The little staples in the box have rusted and caused some rust stainage to get on the clothes. That's what's happened. Oh my goodness. See, I absolutely love little hand-done details like this, where you can take just a plain fabric and ruche it and make ribbons with it, and take a needle and tear it apart a little bit just to make it more special and more stylized, like pin tucks and pleats and gathers and things like that. I absolutely love them. And just seeing all of these techniques in person that are so unique. Like, I've seen things like this before, and in pictures I wasn't able to put together that this is just a piece of the same fabric that's gathered. I wouldn't have thought to put that together. And like these lingerie inserts in the center here, this isn't lace. This is, well, it's eyelet lace, but eyelet lace is done, it's a form of embroidery, cutaway embroidery, where, you know, they've just gone in here and they've cut all of these little circles and then made these little spider webs inside of them, and they are so even and beautiful. Like, I'm gonna take you for close-up shots in a moment, but like, they look uniform from here, like they look perfectly uniform, and then you get right up on top of them, and you can see where the stitches vary just slightly. Wow, I really wish I wasn't dressed like a giraffe right now. I did this to myself. I did it for the bit. Like, there have been multiple times through these videos where I've almost started to cry just because, like, I never met this woman. I don't know her name, actually. But this was my great-grandfather's mother, likely, that made these. Or she bought them from a seamstress that made them for him to wear. And that's just absolutely mind-blowing to me. And then, you know, we have my mom, and she's got European parents and European grandparents, European great-grandparents that were able, they were in a stable and safe enough environment to hold on to these things. You know, like, I can see this beautiful, beautiful workmanship and this handicraft, like this work passed down because they were in a position where they were safe and they had a home and they had storage for multiple generations, you know? I'm gonna go be existential and then come back and get you some close-up shots. It suddenly feels incredibly disrespectful that I'm doing this whole thing while wearing a giraffe onesie, and I have some serious regrets.
The last skirt that I looked at seems to be something like an underskirt. It doesn't have a top part that is similar to a blouse, but then at the bottom it has very, very decorative trimmings. It might even be a petticoat for a small child, but the yoke doesn't seem to have much shaping to it. But oh my goodness, just look at that lace. With the exception of the cutaway embroidery, this technique looks relatively accessible, cutting the strips and ruching them and putting the skinny strips on top, but the cutaway embroidery is really what takes the cake. But like I said, here at the bodice, you can see these holes that I believe were either where buttons ripped out or where buttonholes were going to be installed, but that's the only place where you see them. So I'm not sure if this was a petticoat or something similar, but I think that it may have been, just because of how absolutely ornate the hem is. This baby gown is, I think, the most basic, but even with that being said, it has some really amazing details. This skinny lace, I believe, is added. I don't think that it's hand embroidery work, but I could be wrong. This was the Victorian era, and a lot of things that we would purchase today by machine were made by hand back then. But this one doesn't have any fancy gathering or ruching or ribbon work. It's really just some pin tucks and a little bit of lace. Even with that being said, it is still gorgeous. Just the thought of putting a child in something that required this much work is kind of mind-blowing to me. Especially whenever you consider that the poor little bonnet, it has one of the ribbons ripped right clean off of it, which just proves that Victorian babies also did not like to wear things on their heads. Even though this bonnet likely took hours and hours of time to finish, not just the sewing, but this incredible embroidery work and all of these little channels that can be tightened and loosened so that the hat stays on. The little baby didn't care about that. They just wanted their hat off their head. These little sleeveys are my absolute favorite thing. The cutaway flowers are so precious, and then the dotted Swiss. I already talked about dotted Swiss and how my family has apparently been in love with it for decades, but it's just so beautiful. And these pin tucks might not be as impressive as some of the cutaway lace and incredible layered satin floral stitches, but they're still really nice and even and tiny, and I like them quite a bit. But man, do I love these little flowers. And here we have the first one that I saw when I opened the box. This one is a relatively thin cotton. It's very breathable, and it would have been comfortable for your baby to wear on a hot summer day, I imagine. And it has really unique floral designs down here. This same flower shape is repeated in these long sections here. I personally don't embroider, but I can imagine how incredibly fiddly this would have been to do. Up the front of the gown, we have this incredible decorative panel. Can you even imagine having the time to do all of that?
So, final thoughts. This was cool. This was really cool. This experience has been kind of profound. I took the giraffe onesie off and centered myself, thinking that I'd be able to be less existential, but I don't know that that's the case. Thank you for watching this video and coming on this emotional journey with me. I hope that you got something out of this beyond just the sheer wonderment of it all. Pin tucks are cool. I liked the pin tucks. I hope you did too. Bye, friends!